always been either the pusher or the bartender. I've been on the other side of the bar for too long for me to ever get hooked on this stuff. Truth be known, I don't actually play that much. I'm more interested in making the best quality heroin that I can get more people hooked. Yeah, I actually like addiction.
Pinball got swept up with a lot of the other devices that were considered gambling devices. And you saw a lot of legislation being passed both at the local level, the state level, and the national level, basically banning gambling devices. Gambling became illegal in a number of localities.
And there were no pinball machines in Midtown Manhattan. And I was commuting from New Jersey to New York. And on one of my treks to get back to Port Authority, I walked past what basically was an adult peep show place. And out of the corner of my eye and my ear, I heard a familiar sound, which were pinball machines. And the guy had like 4 pinball machines set up right in the front of the store. And that became my stop. I remember going in there once, and the games were all off on the side, basically taken apart, and had been confiscated. And I walked over to the guy who I kind of knew already, I mean, getting change or whatever. I said, yeah, I don't know what goes on back there. Back over there, the dark world. Just pinball machines. I mean, they literally came in, allowed you to keep doing whatever you're doing back there, and took off pinball machines, and the guy's only thing was... Because when
So at that point, I looked at the fact that between hustling pinball and doing repairs for other operators, I was making $30,000 a year working part-time. And I had more repairs than I could handle. So it became, a question of, I hate school, I hate the man, I hate his plan, I just want to be a pinball pirate. So I shoved off, and that's how I ended up doing it. Well, they like to call themselves modern bookkeeping, but what they actually were the Cinema X people that eventually turned into Déjà Vu, the topless joints. And they worked out of the base of a drive-in movie in Durand, Michigan. We called the Scene Drive-In. And my job was to drive all over Michigan, Saginaw, Flint, Kalamazoo, Battle Creek, and fix pinball machines in adult topless shoeshine places. And I got $6.50 an hour at the time when the minimum wage was $1.85. So I was getting a pretty good wage, and they also paid me the time I was driving in the car, plus mileage.
And wait, did you say a topless shoeshine place?
Topless shoeshine place, yeah.
Okay, so is that like a topless grocery store? I mean, these two things don't seem to go together. Shoeshine,
well, they have this,
topless, I don't get it.
It was all a scam. They take you in the shoeshine room and give you a blowjob while they were shining your shoes. So it was, it was all a sham. And then the girls would hang around in this game room area that had, pinball machines and a jukebox, and the games got actually quite a bit of play. It was, very lucrative for them. Because the girls would, hustle guys that would come in, they'd be standing all topless playing pool and pinball with a terribly sad-looking girl. And I was just, hanging around. I was just barely 18. I, just barely qualified to be in the places. But I was, doing all the repairs and having fun being a pirate, and sat down and figured out, with all these dimes I'm putting in, I should probably think about buying a machine. So we went to the pizza parlor, and the guy who was running the place, he had 2 machines. He had a Gottlieb Domino that he wanted $300 for, and at the time this was less than 5 years old, so it was pretty expensive. And he had a Gottlieb Mayfair, which was 5 years older than that, so it was 10 years old, and he only wanted $165 for that. So me and my brother and another friend chipped in a third each and bought this pinball machine. Put it in the garage, and the neighborhood kids would come along, put dimes in it, and pretty soon it paid for itself. And then we bought the second game.
Wait. You had a game in a garage, and you were charging your friends a dime.
No, not my friends, the neighbor kids.
So the neighbor kids weren't your friends?
I was a pinball player. They would come over and they would, steal money from their parents and play pinball.
And you got away with that?
Well, for a while, the city eventually sent my parents a letter saying that you couldn't conduct commerce in a residential zone. So I had to stop doing that. But meanwhile, I was putting them out in gas stations and frat houses, and we actually got 15 games in one of the first Domino's pizzas. Because Domino's started out in Ann Arbor, and one of their first pizza parlors was in East Lansing. So there was no alcohol in East Lansing at the time. So the only bar in town was just outside the city limits. And between the only bar in a college town and an IHOP restaurant was a small 1,500 square foot taxidermist shop that had gone out of business. And I had an elephant on the roof left over from the taxidermy shop. So we went in, we drew up a business plan, put on some nice clothes, and went to the owner of the bar and asked him, said, well, we were interested in talking to you about putting an arcade in, the empty space next door. And he says, $350 a month, first and last month's rent, give it to my secretary, she'll get you the keys. And that was literally all he said. And we said, well, do you want to see our business plan and our projections, and do you want to hear what we want to do? He said, $350 a month, first and last month's rent, give it to my secretary, she'll give you the keys. He was like in a hurry because he was cooking dinner. So we, scraped up $700 and we opened up the first arcade.
What year was this?
It was September 1st of '76.
Okay, so all EMs then.
Right.
Okay.
Well, Pong had just happened. So we had a Pong.
Did you buy that new or used?
No, we bought it used for $50.
Why, was it not working?
No, because the bottom fell out of Pong real quick.
Okay, so you mean
the distributors were flooded with them, and they take $50 for one.
Right.
So we had electromechanical gun games, 28 or 29 pinballs, a pool table, and a Pong. And we painted the elephant on the roof of the taxidermy shop pink, because we thought it would be real hilarious if people came drunk out of the bar and saw a pink elephant. And so what we did was, instead of going to school and getting a regular job, we would hang around our own pinball arcade, spending hours making crank calls to people. I had many, many cassette tapes of us making crank calls to people. And
was that like a hobby?
Yeah, it was boredom. Always being 18 with nothing to do. So we would, just hang out and play pinball, and we covered our rent the first week we were open. So it wasn't losing money.
Yeah, modern bookkeeping. Why was it called modern bookkeeping? Because I worked for Harry Mahoney, the guy that did started out with a drive-in movie theater in Durand, Michigan, just the other side of Flint. And then he started Cinema X, and then that turned into Déjà Vu and Showgirls and Little Darlings and all those titty bars that are now literally all over the country. But the whole thing was run out of a cinder block building next to the Scene Drive-In in Durand, Michigan, and you couldn't tell anyone you worked for them, and your check came from Modern Bookkeeping, which is what they told you. If anybody asks, you work for Modern Bookkeeping.
Well, what was the thinking behind this illegitimate business?
Because it was pretty much, a bandit industry. It was dirty movie theaters, peep shows. They were rigging the peep show business.
Yes, money.
And they had topless shoe shines and game rooms in all their Cinema X's. The one in Flint, the one in Lansing, and the one in Bay City were the three that I did service for.
So there was another space in the city of East Lansing proper that was an entire basement of the building, which was 3,500 square feet, which was, almost 3 times what we had. And we went in to talk to the guy, and we ended up signing a lease, and we opened up a second one in this basement, and then the city of East Lansing went wet. They allowed bars in the city of East Lansing.
What year was this?
This was in 77 and 78.
Okay.
So we had, they had 26 alcohol drinking establishments open within a 10-block area. It became, a bar zone. And we were, again, in a basement, so we had a low cost structure. We had very, very low rent. And by this point, we'd hired a couple employees because we had 2 stores. But then the video game thing started to happen, and we saw our numbers double and triple, almost overnight, because people, I don't know if you remember the video game era, but they would just line up quarters waiting to play games like Breakout and Sprint 2 and Space Wars and Galaxian and all those games.
There's extra holes here in the cabinet. If you want to, you can unbolt these legs and bolt them up here higher on the playfield so that the pinball sits about this high. That's for little kids. This was supposed to go in Chuck E. Cheese type locations where you have a bunch of little kids. Another reason that you can tell that is it's got a ticket spitter on it. And if you look here, it's one of those awful devices that spit out those tickets that the kids love to collect and get stupid, crappy prizes with. I don't agree with the idea of tickets. I think tickets just promotes gambling. I think it's evil. I think people should play for a free game, and that's it. But that's just me. I'm a stick in the mud. These kids nowadays, they want something for nothing. The Williams numbers were the hard one, but we have a spy in the Williams factory now who sent me along all that stuff, and we're working on getting more goodies out of our spy in the Williams factory. Another good thing